Welcome to Small Biz Life, episode 63, Gratitude.
Does this sound familiar?
Oh my God, I have so much to do today.
Don't forget to breathe.
But I have almost 400 emails in my inbox and 30 phone calls to make.
Have you looked into getting a virtual assistant yet?
Oh, and I need to schedule all my social media posts.
Did you drink anything today?
I had coffee.
Did you eat today?
Did I mention coffee's a bean?
This is Small Biz Life.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Small Biz Life. If you're a returning listener, thank you so much for being with us again this week. And if you're new to the show, welcome.
Yes, we appreciate a listen, and we hope you like the show and subscribe.
We are grateful that you are here.
Yes.
So my name's Kristen Ingram.
And I'm Jeffrey W. Ingram.
And we are a husband and wife team that helps small business owners find the important things in their business so that they can make more money and spend more time being present in their lives.
Yeah, and I think this is an important episode that is often overlooked in people's lives, which actually causes a lot more stress.
Yeah, no, I agree. And, Thanksgiving is the time that most people, start to think about what they're grateful for. And I wish this wasn't like a one day of the year thing, that this is something people did all year long.
Yeah, and if you sort of take this and once a quarter go through this and just say, hey, what am I thankful for? What have I got accomplished or got through or survived?
And it's also, we're getting towards the end of the year, right? And this is when people start thinking about their goals for next year, but they don't really stop to think about what worked, what they're grateful for, and all the good things. And I think there are a lot of people who get around the holidays, and for some people, the holidays are a depressing time. And so we just wanted you to take some time to think about what you're grateful for.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of times we forget about the small things. We're expecting like these big monumental things in our lives, and that's the only time that we show gratitude.
Yeah, and a lot of times we kind of think of stuff in that way in general, where typically changes in life have happened very small things over time, and we notice them at a certain point. At a certain point, we consider them this great thing, but my favorite one is always the cotton gin. It's this thing that we believe was invented back in like the 1800s, and it would brush the seeds out of cotton, and it made it a lot faster to harvest cotton. And the simple fact is, it was really around from about 1200 AD.
Wow.
There was a minor modification, and it was patented. Ergo, we consider it invented in the 1800s. But really, the idea of the cotton gin was around for 600 years before someone patented it after making a minor change to it, which did make it more effective. But it still wasn't, it was a minor change to something that was already there.
Interesting. So I'm grateful for kitties.
I'm grateful for kitties, too. They make the production of podcasts so much easier. Their producing skills are invaluable to the Small Biz Life and the World Builders Anvil podcast.
Yeah, and you will hear occasionally, you'll hear a kitty meow or you will hear a kitty fighting. So we don't have children. We have cats instead. And, I think the reason that I really love having cats is because they're pretty low maintenance most of the time.
Except when you're producing podcasts.
Except when you're producing podcasts. And so we just mentioned that because they're starting to make noise around. So
don't know if you'll hear it, but you might.
So, I think looking back on this year for us, I think we have so much to be grateful for.
Yes.
Because this was launch year, right? So this is the year that we really focused on both of our podcasts. So if you don't listen to Jeff's other podcast, he has a podcast called the World Builders Anvil.
Great for everyone.
which is a fantasy world building podcast. And has done really well this year.
Yes.
Right. Surpassed all of your expectations. Yes. We had a really great year with Small Biz Life. Having this platform enabled us to speak a number of times throughout the year. So that was kind of cool. Actually, I spoke at 3 different conferences this year. You spoke at 2 of those. You're getting ready for your book to come out.
Yes.
Right? So we're very grateful
the first Tuesday in June, I believe.
Yes, that's very exciting. You know, that has been a really long process, right, to get to the book to that point.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm really thankful that we found John Acuff when we did.
Oh, yes.
Because I think that was kind of a pivot point for us.
It allowed us to, how do you say, start?
Yes. Yes. Well, and I think, too, because before you read that book, you were going to go to law school.
Yes.
And then, which kind of shocked me because you'd always been that person that said, no, I'm done with education. I got my 4-year degree.
That's not what I said. I said I was done with college.
With college.
Because there's nothing of value in college. And then I decided I was going to go do something that I needed another college degree for.
Says he who is married to a college professor.
I do love education, and I educate myself every day.
But it was, you know, it was really interesting that day that you came home and you were like, I'm not going to law school. I'm going to write instead, and I'm going to develop my game world, and I'm going to share it with the world.
Yeah.
So that was pretty neat, you know. So that's something that I'm very thankful for, is having that influence in our lives, like at the right time when we needed that message, so that we made that pivot.
Well, I think one of the good things is that I'm grateful for is both of our curiosity. You know, it's like there are many things, you know, as you're especially trying to launch yourself in sort of, I don't like to say expert space. I might be called an expert from some people, but I like to think of it as a sharing space, you know, and people can determine whether or not they consider me an expert at anything. But I share what I know. I love sharing what I know. But we've had the same because of our curiosity that we've always kept looking, and we've found several sort of key educators along the way who've helped keep us from quitting. You know, and this is outside of the audience. It actually becomes easier once you have a bit of an audience because, you know, hey, I'm not making money. You know, I did my podcast for 2 years and I've made no money. Well, I've made a little bit of money, I guess, but not nearly enough to consider leaving my job or something like that. And I really haven't tried. But the audience helps keep me going forward. But actually, there's been a few key educators that have kind of kept us along the path until we finally, I believe, found the way we're going.
So who are some of those key educators for you?
Tim Grahl.
Yeah, he's great.
He's great if you are an author. He's a person I would seek out if you want an idea of how to move forward, launching books specifically, and general information as well as building your platform over time. If one of your main ways to make money is through writing books, he would be an invaluable resource. Michael Hyatt. The idea of platform, the idea of home base we always talk about, very much came from him. We've known people who've had their 15 minutes of fame in social media. Hopefully they will get another 15 minutes here or there, but over relied on platforms like that and lost all of their steam and momentum, and then kind of felt like they had nothing, which is sad because they're very talented people. But those lessons, along with the lessons of Michael Hyatt, really helped. And if you go to goodwill.com, you'll see that I actually use his premium WordPress theme at this point. That will be changing soon. But at this point, I am using his premium WordPress plugin, which is a great place to get a good start on a WordPress site with very little money.
I think the two for me that have made the most impact this year would probably be Gary V. Because
you like to get your butt kicked.
He seems to put out the butt kicking video that I need at exactly the right time. one of the biggest challenges for me, as you know, if those of you that have met me, right, and those of you who listen to the podcast, you know that I have a very strong personality. And I typically...
Ergo, you need a Gary Vaynerchuk to have the level of ass kickiness to kick your ass.
Right. Well, the thing is, it's like most people, look at what we're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. They know the direction they're going in. And I got to tell you, okay, moment of honesty here. There are a lot of times I'm like, we don't know what the hell we're doing.
We've performed several 180s, approaching periods of time where we would have made more money. And a lot of it was kind of fear, but it was kind of also hearing things and making us question the path that we were on.
Right. So, I really need that ass kicking every now and again.
And I can't kick her ass.
Yeah, no, it doesn't really work when it's you.
I'm a supporter. I'm Mr. Supporty Pants.
Mr. Supporty Pants.
Mr. Supporty Pants.
Okay. So, in issues that I've had in the past, trying to work with people, whether it's been, psychologists or coaches, people are reluctant to kick my ass. So it's true. But it's funny because like Gary Vee puts out these videos, and I shared one of them with our group a while back. And I was just like, yeah, that was the butt kicking I needed today. So, so in that realm, right, like coming up with the message that I need to hear. And then, and you guys know, because I've mentioned this name a ton of times on the show, Brendon Burchard has really been the person this year that I think has pushed me the farthest. And
I think for both of us in general, Brendon has presented a message in the way that we need. And the thing we like about him is he seems to take you from zero to new level to new level to new level, where a lot of these guys are very good if you're in certain spots, but not necessarily good as an overall theme of how you want to carry your online business forward. Brendon Burchard, to me, the thing that appealed to me was he's like, hey, how to get your first 50 email subscribers. Because everyone's like, oh yeah, this is great if you have 1,000. Well, jeepers. I would love to have 1,000 email subscribers, but how do I get the 1,000? And some will give you general methods and techniques, but Brendon really seems to have a wealth of information for people who are in that beginning phase, who are moving forward. If you're sort of in that space where people might think of you as an expert, he's incredible.
And, the thing that I really respect with him, and I got some deeper insight into this when I went to Experts Academy, but he wants to help people. And so, he has his free stuff that you can get on YouTube and his podcast, and he's got books, that are his low cost entry level. He's got very inexpensive courses, and then he's got really expensive courses, and then he's got really, much more expensive either coaching with one of his certified coaches, or he's got his own mastermind group, which is very high end, but he's got something for everybody. Because
the thing is, one of the guilts people feel in selling stuff is, what if people can't afford my thing? And there's some legitimate truth to that. Sometimes people can't afford your thing. But if you have your higher end products to where people can pay for it there, it helps subsidize you so you can deliver your free content, or have other things that are at a lower price point. They're not going to drive the same value as the larger price point thing. But if you follow sort of a Brendon style approach, you're going to get hopefully someone who really takes and listens and uses your free stuff to then be able to afford your inexpensive stuff, who will then be able to afford your more expensive stuff.
Right. And that's kind of, as you're kind of planning for the next year, I want you to think about, the stuff that you're giving away for free. Are you doing it just because you want to sell stuff? Or are you doing it because you want to educate people so that they see the value and might engage with you on, a paid basis later.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times we focus in on, okay, well, this is my lead magnet, which is going to lead to sales.
Mm-hmm.
I want to educate people.
Mm-hmm.
And if you never go beyond what we give away for free, I want you to walk away and say, wow, their free stuff was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the only level that you ever engage with us,
we still love you just the same.
That's totally cool, because you know what? I find that the people that are engaging our free content, those are the people that are sharing it out. They're helping us grow the audience. And they might not be the people who ever pay us money, but maybe someone they introduce to us will be. So I really want you to think about that educational content that you're creating and really have it be educational. And
realize too that sometimes even if your end goal is to sell like certain types of products that you don't consider educational, a lot of times there's an education process you need to provide to people, because quite possibly they don't understand the reason that your product will make their life better. Think about it as you're educating them about your product. You're letting them know how this thing can work in life. So if you sell this super hoopty, make you more fit item, you could have content where you're showing different, better ways to use it for free. And that's still educational. So there's always an educational component, whether or not you're selling a hard product that you don't consider educational. You can still use education as a model to help increase awareness about your product and help hopefully overall increase sales.
All right. So let me give you an example from a not traditionally educational business. There are a lot of forward-thinking car repair companies that are running workshops on basic car maintenance. How do you change your tire if it goes flat on the side of the road? How do you know if you need a particular fluid? How do you put windshield wiper fluid into your car? Basic maintenance things that people can do on their own so that they know their car better.
Yeah, and you could be someone like me who's really good with cars, and you're like, obviously, you have that oil well, and that's where you pour all your fluids in. But other people don't know that. They really don't.
Where you pour no, you don't pour all the fluids into the oil.
Okay, not gasoline, but like your window.
No.
Oh, crap.
Yeah, don't ever contact Jeffrey for car maintenance advice. Okay? That's my department, not Jeffrey's. But, there are a lot of companies out there that can provide educational resources. If you're in HVAC, it would be wonderful to show people how to switch their vents from hot to cold. What are some basic things that you can do? How often should you change your filter in your heating system? How do you change your filter in your heating system?
How to save the most money with the heating system you have. So, like you said, changing your filters, doing your maintenance.
The temperature ranges that will save you the most. Because it was actually interesting, when we were talking to an HVAC guy we know, he's like, if you try to turn your heat down, is it more than 5 degrees? 8 degrees
over a day,
it will actually take more energy and cost you more to heat the house back up. So if you keep it in the 5 to 8 degree range, you'll actually save more money than if you turn your heat way down during the day and then turn it way back up. So like little things like that you don't necessarily think, well, I'm not in a space where I'm trying to educate people.
You should be.
We are all in a space where we are trying to educate people.
Because helping people do better or understand more, if you work on computers and you give free workshops, at your educate adult ed or stuff like this on how to use your computer more effectively, that helps get your name out in front of people. Getting your name out in front of people might place them in front of someone who's about to make the decision on who to call when they need to actually do it. Or sometimes they'll come up with a bigger problem and they'll think, oh, there was that person. Oh, let me go look. Oh, here's the business card. And then they call that person who helped them learn how to use Windows.
And it's funny because in all of these local Facebook groups, and most communities have them now, I would say probably 70% of the content in the Windsor, Connecticut, forum is I'm looking for a business to help me do this. Mm-hmm. Does anybody have a recommendation? And
sometimes there are ones, and a lot of times they're crickets.
We're all in the educational space, whether we like it or not. Mm-hmm.
And if you're a local business and you look for like people where you go work with, those are very important kinds of communities for you to get involved in, those local forum communities, because one, you have relationships with other people around you who you could recommend. You can use these things as a way to outreach, to do your educational content in front of people who are your actual avatars. But, being there and being helpful and circumstances that aren't specifically aimed towards you will also help generate the credibility for you when it comes to you delivering the information that you're trying to deliver.
And I think when you live a life of gratitude, I think that extends out into getting involved in your community. As we're approaching the holiday season, lots of organizations are going to be doing toy drives and food drives. And I'd love for you as a business owner, people are always asking me, how can I build our business's name? How can I create more relationships? Go volunteer. I did a lot of volunteer work probably in the first 7 years of my business.
Yep.
I was on the board of the food bank. I was on the board of a chamber. I volunteered at golf tournaments because I didn't golf, but they were fun, right? So you want to participate, but if you don't golf, you can volunteer. We packed boxes for troops. We helped with political campaigns. I was on the board of ed in town.
I was on the youth commission.
You were on the youth commission, right? You're a mentor. So I think that being out in the community, and it's funny because I get phone calls that, somebody's looking to get their taxes done and they got my name from somebody that I volunteered with. Because, being out there in the community, helping your community, people will remember you. And it's a great thing to help your community when they need it.
Yes. And I think one of the things that you can do when you are grateful is sometimes there is that moment where it's appropriate, where you overhear a conversation when you're at a chamber meeting and someone can actually use your help and you give them your best stuff. And I think that's a mistake a lot of us make, is we're afraid to share our best stuff. It's like we have to keep it all under lock and key until we receive money for it. But sometimes when you can actually help individuals and you genuinely are trying to help them and you hear that they are in need and you go to and help them, that helps generate goodwill over time. It's, you can play for the short term. I'm going to try and make as much money as I can in the next launch. Or you're going to say, hey, I do want to make as much money as I can at my next launch, but you know what? My reputation is a slow game over time. And I'm always working, always trying to make my reputation better.
So, typically when you read an accounting textbook, it says the goal of a business is to make profit. And I tell my students that definition is wrong. The goal of business is to make profit over the long term. And so, if you look at businesses that have ethical issues, that go out of business, it is because they are trying to make as much money as humanly possible right now. Businesses that survive and thrive and grow are trying to make profit for a really long time. And so when you get into that mindset that this is a marathon, this is not a sprint, your mindset changes and you think about, how can I build relationships in my community? How can I help people? And it completely changes the way you will run your business. And I think that this is running a business with gratitude in mind.
Yeah. And gratitude is not only the stuff that you have for something, there's a physical aspect to it as well, where you're giving back to your community. And even if you're an online person, it will help you to go work in your local community. It will help you to go out and on the online community and help people as well too. But do it in places where you can practice. If you want to be a big online speaker, you can probably book gigs at a local library or a local chamber of commerce thing, or heck, go join the Toastmasters, and you can practice over and over and over again. Because a lot of times being a good speaker is learning how to deliver, not just getting your ideas out in front of people. Because if you can't coherently deliver your ideas to them once you're there, it doesn't matter how good your content is.
Exactly. So, practice gratitude this week. You're probably going to be at the grocery store at some point, and grocery stores are crazy, and people are typically in a bad mood this week. So, one thing that I am, and this is ingrained in me. When is the last time you went to the deli counter and you said please and thank you? Or you went to the meat counter and you said please and thank you? For me, it was last night.
Yeah.
People who work at the meat counter, I think, have one of the most difficult jobs in the grocery store, because people tend to be impatient. They are mean sometimes, but they typically are not very gracious. When you are out, and if you get in the habit of doing this over the next week, this is something that will carry forward, into your life. Say please. Say thank you. Say thank you to the person that bags your groceries. Say thank you to the person that cuts your meat at the deli counter.
Well, I usually add on the proverbial sir or ma'am.
Yes, which sometimes gets you in trouble in New England. But it's like when we were at the grocery store last night, and the woman who was bagging our groceries, I said, thank you. I appreciate what you do. I thank the people who return the carts, because they do something that, especially in New England, can be a really crappy job, especially in the winter.
Yeah.
It's very easy to practice gratitude by thanking the people around you. And I would hope that you will practice that this week, and you will let that carry forward, for the rest of this season and into the next year. Because that is a little thing that you can do that means a tremendous amount to people. If you work a job and you have maintenance people or janitors in your building, say hello to them every time you see them and thank them for what they do.
Security guards.
It's
the people who take care of the things that people sometimes take for granted, who take out your trash, who make sure the mail flows correctly through a facility that you're in, who bags your groceries, that save you a lot of time. You wouldn't have time to get to all of the higher end stuff you wanted to get to if those people were not around. And so be thankful when you have them, and let them know that you appreciate them. And because if nothing else, do it for the selfish reason of one day they might be sitting across the table from you at a business arrangement.
Right.
And you know what? They will definitely remember you if you were evil to them. They'll probably remember you more likely if you're gracious to them.
Well, and it's interesting because in the role that I'm in right now, being the director of a program, right, you're constantly trying to get new students into the funnel. It's exactly like online business, right? We've got to build the funnel, get, prospective students in, talk to them about the program, get them involved, and get them to apply and get them in the program. Because I've built a lot of goodwill with students at the 3 universities I've taught at. I now have this legion of students that are working out in accounting that are referring people into my program because they know that I run it.
Yeah.
And so, it's so cool having invested in these students, and now they're investing back in me. So you never know what building relationships will do at the time that you're starting to build them. You know, it's sometimes it takes years before, you know, you're going to start seeing a return on investment. Don't think like it has to happen today. So, you know, a couple other like little things that I'm grateful for, right? I am really grateful for the people that make the quill. Okay, so if you don't know what this is an electronic device that you wear on your leg that helps you with pain. And we saw this device, and I think Jeff's mentioned that he's got problems with one of his knees, and we bought this device, and it has been just a godsend for us. So I am so thankful to the people that made that device. I am very thankful for all of you. Because there are times where we really don't feel like recording.
Yeah.
There were times where, you know, we were traveling a lot this year, and we said, well, you know, I mean, we could just skip the show. And it was like, no, we can't skip the show because we have people that, you know, it's funny. Monday morning, I look at the numbers and I know that there are those of you that Monday morning you open up your podcast player and you're expecting that new episode to be there. And we want to make sure that the episode is there for you. I want you guys to know, you know, especially those of you that are in the group, are asking questions, are helping people, those of you that subscribe to the show, share the show. You guys mean the world to us. We love helping you. We love seeing, you know, how your business is growing, the wins that you're posting on Wednesdays, you know, helping you with the struggles you have, watching you help other people with the struggles that they're having, and
sharing your content on Saturday. Or what I love even more is sharing content I've never seen for people who aren't even in my group on Saturday. That's awesome too. Because, you know, when people are sharing on Saturday, if they want to share their friend's thing that they love or someone else who they work with or just found it and love it, that's awesome too.
Yeah. But, you know, I want you to know the profound effect. Because, you know, it's funny because I was saying earlier that people don't challenge me. You guys challenge us. You guys challenge us to be better, to learn more, you know, to try harder.
And to give better content.
Right. And that's the thing. It's like, I think I have read more books this year, read more articles this year, done more research this year than I probably have since I finished my undergraduate degree. And that's because we want to have great content to share with you.
And it's really because of how great you are in interacting with us and other people in our community. It puts a positive kind of pressure on us to try and deliver you even better content that we think that you will find useful, because you guys deserve so much more than we could give for free.
Yes, absolutely. So, you know, to wrap up, you know, a couple things this week that we'd like you to think about. First, you know, make a list of things that you're grateful for. There are actually some different like journaling techniques where every day you write down 3 things you were grateful for that day. Doing that, I think, really helps bring that into, you know, highlights it. And I think that when you think everything is going wrong, when everything's terrible,
it's more important.
Right. This is more important to do this and sit down and really say, all right, what am I grateful for today? Because I might have had a totally crap day, but I bet you there are 3 things that I'm grateful for. And sometimes it's something as silly as the coffee maker worked this morning.
Or that guy who cut me off and flipped me off on the road did not throw a brick at my window.
Right. You know, or yes, I got cut off, but, you know, my car didn't get damaged. I didn't get hurt. So, you know, find those little things that you can find.
And you'll find in general, especially if you have a more pessimistic attitude on your path forward, that understanding why you should be grateful will help make being optimistic a habit. Because you'll realize when you're having that bad day, it'll just start coming to your mind that, oh, wait, what about that lady who was nice to me in the line when I was at the store earlier? What about that kid who I saw help someone across the street when I was crossing the street myself? Those are the things that they're small, but they help you realize the world is still a wonderful place.
Right. And that's the thing. And even if you're battling depression, you can make optimism a choice. You can say, no matter how bad I feel, no matter how dark the world is, I am going to think of 3 things I am grateful for every day. And it is amazing how that changes your mindset. And especially as a small business owner, how that will help drive you forward. I posted a meme on the Facebook page yesterday or the day before that said, momentum is the greatest way to kill fear.
Yeah.
Because when you are moving forward, that excitement helps calm the fear and keep it quiet and kind of, make it go away.
And all of a sudden you've accidentally stumbled past success before you realize that you should have been afraid. And one of the things I talk about too in the Army is they don't train you not to have fear. They don't train you to not be afraid in certain circumstances. They train you to act before the fear happens. Because then the fear, even though it's going to be there, you've already acted.
Right. Okay. So practice gratitude. Okay. What are you grateful for? Go out into your community, right? And show kindness and helpfulness in your community, whatever your capacity to do that is. And it may be, we don't have any extra money right now, but we're going to go volunteer. We're going to go help at our food bank. We're going to go help with a toy drive. We're going to do something to help people. And then the last thing that I want you to do is I want you, if you have a Facebook page or you have a Facebook group, I want you to thank your followers or your group members this week. Tell them how much they mean to you. Tell them, that you are grateful for them. And, just let them know that they're important and they help drive you forward.
Yeah.
We hope that, if you're in the States, we hope that you have a great Thanksgiving. We hope that you practice gratitude. And we hope that you spread that gratitude and that positivity out into your communities. So we love you very much. Have a great week. Thank you for listening to Small Biz Life. If you enjoyed the show, please take a few minutes to rate and review the show on iTunes or Stitcher. Please visit smallbizlife.com to view today's show notes, take this week's poll, join the Facebook community, follow us on Twitter, or submit a question for the mailbag. Support the show by checking the resources page or by going to smallbizlife.com/Amazon whenever you shop.
This was Small Biz Life.